Hello, welcome to Manifesting with Ari Mack. I'm your host, Miss Ari McIntyre, spiritual life coach, affirmation aromatherapy candle maker, and divinely guided and blessed. Thank you for joining me this December 18th, 25. Can you believe that Christmas is here? Because Christmas is here. Mm. It's like next week. Are you ready? Are you ready for the holidays? All right. I was talking on the phone and doing charts right up to when I started. So bear with me for a minute while I set the ambiance. Got to get my candles. Candles by Ari. Going with purple this month. Mm. It's just something about setting up your intent when you get ready to do something. I don't know if you guys have habits, things that you do, rituals, routines, things to set you up for success. Hey, Pixie Mama, thank you. I love the candles too. I'm not even going to try it. I'm going to leave it down here. Okay. So today I want to talk to you guys about coming live here on my YouTube channel and on the TikTok. Hey, now TikTok. We're going to talk about your soul has a story, and your chart reveals that story. I just went to a couple of Christmas celebrations in this last week, and I'm a notorious people watcher. I think people are fascinating. I think that God has given us so much opportunity that we can actually overlook how much opportunity we have because we have so much. Even when people say there's a lack or a limitation, it's if you choose to accept that as being your truth. And for me and my group, we're constantly seeing miracles on top of miracles because we expect them. So you got to have an expected mind to be able to move to the next level of your evolution. Because everybody wants something. I mean, everybody wants to look better, feel better, get stronger, and all that stuff. So when I look at astrology, because I think the five senses that we have taste, touch, smell, sight, all those things can guide you to your success. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to do the work, doesn't mean you don't have to educate yourself. And of course, you got to have some healthy boundaries. Okay? You have to decide what's going to work or not work for you. And that's a personal journey. But the beautiful part about astrology in particular, it's based on what's happening in the actual stars. It's so fascinating. It's actually mind blowing. Okay? Because each planet rules a particular sign. When you were born, you lined up a latitude and a longitude to sync up with what was going on in the heavens. And that's what makes this so unique. This is what makes this so cool because everybody has a unique signature. Even twins, fraternal twins, have unique signatures. And one of the things I have done with hundreds, if not thousands of people over my years of developing these skills is I find that hidden talent, right? That's the spirit. That's what spirit gave you. It's like something innate inside of you, but you may not realize it because everybody goes, "Oh, that's nothing," and it's not a big deal, and on and so forth, right? Because if you don't have a lot of nurturing, which some of us don't get, let's be honest, even though we watch TV, which I gotta say has been the best propaganda tool of all time because it does ignite your imagination and give you hope, but it doesn't always prepare you for the reality of all the steps that go into allowing your dream to come true. Yeah, because we're in co-creation with the universe. And that's what makes this so unique. Okay. So when you're talking about your soul, and let's just say hypothetically it happens to be in your feet. Why not, right? Let's go with the soles being the soles of your feet. Do you not wear shoes to protect your feet? Do you not wash yourself at the end of your day, hopefully that you're doing that, to make sure your feet and body are nice and clean? Okay. You don't walk around taking a hammer and hitting your feet with it. No, you don't, right? Because you want your feet to be used for what the body requires, which is walking, balance. Okay. Well, in astrology, this is how fascinating it is. Each sign rules a particular part of the body, right? And guess what the feet rule? It's a physical part, then there's a metaphysical part. I'm going to let you guys think about that. Feet. What would the feet rule? And I'm going to give you a little hint. The astrology goes from the top of the head, like starting with Aries, to the bottom, ending with Pisces. So one of those signs rules the feet. And I want you guys to tell me and let me know a little bit later. Hey now, thanks for joining on the TikTok app. So I was looking at right now where we are as a soul. If I was a soul coming down, what energy would the universe be bringing? Because this is the beautiful part about astrology. Okay. It can go for the individual, it can go for the group, it could go for the company. This beautiful thing about learning astrology and learning yourself and how it affects you, and maybe some things you put in your chart, it opens you up to new possibilities that you may have considered, but you didn't do too much with. Okay. So, right now, as we sit, the sun is in Sagittarius, Mercury's in Sagittarius. I checked, and the moon is also in Sagittarius. So, we got a lot of Sag. Mars is in Capricorn. Mars is how we love, it's in Capricorn. Jupiter is also in Cancer, going backwards. Now, Capricorn and Cancer are opposing signs. So some can say that that could be a bit of a challenge, a little bit of a, you know. eh. Saturn's in Pisces, okay? So that's some more water, Cancer, Jupiter, Saturn, Pisces. Uranus, the unexpected planet, is in Taurus, okay? And it's going retrograde in Taurus, which is very unusual, okay? Neptune is in its native planet, a native sign of Pisces, which I find very fascinating because that's Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Cancer. That's a lot of water. And then Pluto, which normally rules Scorpio, is also in Aquarius, which is an air sign. So when I look at this, I see, first of all, a person with a great deal of luck because they're coming down with three planets in Jupiter. The planet that normally rules Sagittarius is Jupiter. Now, I'm not going to say that Sagittarius is walk on water, and I'm not going to say that. But I will say in my travels, I find the Sagittarius person or people have been the more generous to me. And that's my personal observation because I find that when they're in a high regard, because with astrology, you can take the best of the sign and you can flip it to make it the worst of the sign. It's a free will choice. Free will. Okay. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining me. Appreciate. Tap the screen, give me some hearts, show me some love. I appreciate it. Same thing here. But, YouTube, I love you guys because you guys got questions and feedback and totally dig it. YouTube, Tiki Talkie. You too. Anywho, so when I see all of this Sag, Sun in Sag, Mercury in Sag, Venus in Sag, I mean, this person's coming down with an agenda to be a learner. They want to not only expand their maybe their bank account, which they probably will have some luck there, but they also want to expand their love life. They want to expand their mind. They want to grow. This individual's coming down with the intent of doing growth. Now, what they choose to do with that is their own personal thing. And then they put Mars in Capricorn. Now, when I look at a chart and I see a Mars in Capricorn, to me, that person's going to get better with age because they're going to learn, right? They're going to grow. They're not going to sit on their laurels and just hope things work out. With that learning Sag fire, and you take that Mars and you put it in that Capricorn, this person is going to grow while they're coming down here. See, this to me is probably it's going to be considered heavy hitter energy. And I say that because the moon is also in Sagittarius. I looked it up and I'll talk about that in a second. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But when I look at a chart like this, like today, we're using today as an example of a chart, I can already tell that this person is very lucky, but they also probably push the envelope. Because with Mercury in Sagittarius, it does say they will say whatever they please unless they have more maturity or structure around them. Remember, the high end is they can speak probably 15, 20 different languages, very smart. But the low end, they may not know how to carry on basic conversations because they are so busy thinking about other things that they're not looking at what's happening in front of them. And with Sag being expansive, they could probably have some introvert thing happening because they're so busy trying to get their message out and learn stuff that they may not have set and communicated outside of their comfort zones too much. Yeah. And if they have Jupiter in Cancer going backwards, they're always going to need to be near their home. They need to have some radiance of some home proximity, maybe bring a lot of pictures from home, a mug from home they bring every day. This individual is going to need some sort of grounding from that home base. That's everything to them. And with Saturn being in Pisces, that just says they have to discipline their compassion. But doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means they're going to want to think through, ask questions, come to understand. This person could be a scholar very easy. I'm not going to say necessarily go into law because I also see a lot of music. When you have a lot of Sag in your chart, it's just a natural ambiance where you feel like you can connect to people and people do find you to be interesting, you know? So when I look at this, Neptune also being in Pisces, Uranus is in Taurus going backwards, Pluto in Aquarius. This is one of those eclectic people that in 40 years will be somewhere in the mainstream. Okay. They will be somewhere in some capacity of a leader, and or if not a leader, in a group type of situation where they're leading a trend. Okay. And that's what astrology can tell when you're looking for your secrets of your soul. Now, I'm hypothetically using today's chart because it's very interesting how we as people be as affected by it. Because we are affected, regardless if you believe it or not. See, I don't predict the future. I help guide you through it and plan for your future. Because the way astrology works, man, right? So true, right, Pixie Mama? Literally, it could give you the actual day of the week that is your strongest day. And I actually offer that service inside the GAP program. That's part of the GAP program. You get days so you know what are your strongest days, your weakest days. Well, not your weekdays, because I think you already know when you ain't feeling something. So I don't think anybody needs to tell you when you're having a bad day. Okay. But having a day that you can plan, and I think I put 3 days for each of the elements. So, anywho, so when you get to learning about self, and that's where we're going to be going, guys, we're all going to need to dig a little bit deeper to find what we intuitively believe to be our truth. Isn't that a big one? Intuitively believe to be our truth. And it is true. It is true because we're like little sponges when we come down here. We're like little sponges. And whatever family circle you fell into, whatever it is, and there's no judgment, you may not have had some of the traditional things. Or hell, you may have had them in a super traditional way. You know, it just depends. But that energy that we absorb through our family units and through those first development years, I think 0 to 5 is the critical time. A lot of times when I go back to um, uh, my client's chart and we started looking at 5, that's where the scars started. That's where the emotions started getting beat up and or misinterpretation, confusion, doubt. Because we're a clean slate. You don't come in with fear. Just for the record, no one comes in as a baby terrified. You have no understanding of what terror is. So how could you even know how to receive it? Basically, you're just screaming and hollering because you're hungry. Hmm. And you want food. So that's our only form of communication is through our vocals. Now, good mommies and daddies, and I'm not saying there's bad ones or good ones, but the ones who are in tune with their kids, you innately start feeling what the child needs. You just start, especially a new mother, because everything's sore and your energy just wraps and engulfs and syncs up. And so does the fathers. The first couple of weeks, they do recommend skin and skin because that's how you were in the womb. Well, it's the same thing with astrology. When you came down with a certain energy in a certain placement, certain direction, and boom, these are the components that make you who you are. Now, they're not the end all and be all, okay? Because you do have free will, you have choice. There's no mental restrictions. You can take whatever you want from the information that's being given. Hey, Harmony, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. But you have to be willing to participate. You got to participate. Now, going back to the astrology thing again, when you find out where your moon falls, okay, and the moon is the part of yourself that no one sees. The moon changes every 2 days. The moon is ruled by Cancer, okay, and it's considered the mother. So you have the sun sign that you're born with, which is your kind of like father energy, ego. Then you have the moon underneath, which is more the motherly side, the nurturing side, the side that a lot of people don't see. And then there's another component called your rising sign, and that's the mask that you put out to the world. And we'll talk about that at a later time, probably in a seminar, because that's more specific. And people take their risings and they can do wonders with them. Wonders, wonders. A little trickier to find out too. So when you look at your sun sign, and everybody, you can look this up online, it's not that hard, okay? When you look at your sun sign, it can tell you all the qualities of wherever your sun is. We're going to use Sagittarius because we are currently in Sagittarius. Happy birthday, Sag. Next week, this weekend, actually, we're going to be going into Capricorn, which is the taskmaster, which is, it's an earth sign and it's cardinal and it's quite interesting. Anywho, so with the sun being in Sag right now, Sag is a fire sign. It's mutable. Okay. It's ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is the biggest planet in our solar system. Okay. I'm not going to say universe because I think it depends on where you're at. And when you have that kind of energy, they're little firecrackers. I could see fire children a mile away because they're not sitting. They're explorers. They want to get in. They want to know what's happening. Even if they're tiny little things, they want to be a part of it. They want to engage with it. And it's adorable because they don't have that long attention span, but it's cute. It's adorable. But anywho, I don't want to digress. So when you look at that sun sign, and you guys can do this yourselves, you don't need me to do it. I do the natal chart. I do the whole chart from beginning to end to see where you are, where you came from, and then piece together where you would like to go. Because like I said, I don't predict the future. I plan it with you so that you have a guideline, so you have a direction, a point of reference for your success. Because that's the other thing about this whole thing about life. It's all about that affirmation, that belief system, and how you've cultivated that or not in your lifetime. Because not everybody, okay, not everybody hits all of their goals. And it depends on how and what and when and where your choices come into effect as to if you're swimming upstream, downstream, or you're just washing down the river. Because I've seen people just wash down the river. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a little bit more challenging. It's a little bit more challenging because when you are not standing for something, you could fall for anything. So that's where influence can come in, especially if you have people who know their power, know what they're capable of doing. It's easy to be attracted to that energy. And it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing as long as you have your boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries. Just things you know that this is my line. Please do not cross. This is as far as I go. Please don't, push me on that side. And honoring that yourself. Yeah. Honoring it yourself. Because the more that we do that, guys, the better our society will become. Why? Because we need our own personal boundaries so that we know how to help others. Whenever you get on a plane, I haven't done it in quite some time. They tell you if there's an incident that the overhead will drop with the mask. And even if you have a child or someone you care for, caring for, they always tell you put the mask on first. Most people don't think that's right. They think I should put the mask on them. But who's going to take care of them if you go down? That is not a selfish thing. That is a make sense thing. Okay. So when you're looking at your moon, for example, in your chart, that's who you are deep down. That's the part that a lot of people don't see. And that's usually where your creative side is because you just kind of dink around. Um, I know a particular person who used to tinker around with instruments at his home by himself. Oh, humble peace. Thank you, babe. Appreciate. Thanks for all the hearts. And he would just play the different instruments. He didn't really master any. He just liked to, kind of play with them. Hmm. Well, he ended up figuring out a way to put little places together to help kids learn how. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, sweetheart. We, people to teach little people how to play the instruments. And the way he did it wasn't like the formal way. He let them pick which one they want to play with each time they came, and he would just kind of like let them play. And the parents could sit and watch. And it was like a indoor playground for musical kids. And it was not something he thought he would ever do. Let me just say that that's how beautiful talent is he didn't think that was a talent, but he said he wanted to make sure that kids got at least access to instruments to just play something and to be able to explore something. That's Sagittarius energy. That's how they work. They're going to put something out. And oh, what are you cooking? Put it in the chat. So yeah, grab the gap. Grab the gap. As Pixie Mama 06 is saying, because he only had the ability to play the instruments himself, and he bought quality instruments. So he didn't have a problem letting kids come and play with them because they needed to be used. He wasn't trying to start a camp. He wasn't even thinking along those lines. He was just trying to reach out to his community with the talent that he could share. Now I think he's moved on and he's added more programs and joined with other people. So, one little thing, because he was totally in administrative work. Okay. Totally administrative work. Oh, turkey breast potatoes and broccoli. Can I come to your house for dinner? That sounds yummy. He told me when we went into sessions that he always felt like he was bored. Like he had a good job, he had a beautiful family, for everything, all the boxes was checked. But he personally felt like he was missing something. When we started looking at his chart and really breaking it down, he always loved music. He just loves music. He's a music lover. And there's nothing wrong with that. So he started tinkling around with instruments as a young person, but he didn't think, or maybe he didn't get the support. I'm not sure what the details were, but he didn't feel like music would be able to sustain him. So he went and stayed with something safe and fundamental and needed, and whatever it was an administrative. I don't want to lie to you, I don't remember. But I thought I was gonna sneeze. Okay. And he did it. But even while he was doing his job and he was there, he said he always felt like he was missing something. Like there's a part of him that wasn't fully satisfied. Right. So he just kept doing the work, but there was no, how do I describe this? There was no end result to it. He just felt like it became routine and he started looking for other things outside of work because he was getting more and more mentally burnt. That's the best way I can put that, is mentally burnt on the redundant work because he knew it so well he could practically do it in his sleep. So I think it was during the COVID thing that he started getting back into his musical side because he had time and he was at home and he explored. And lo and behold, he found another way to find something that he truly loves, not to be a musical superstar, not to try to make money in it, but just to find a way to love it. just to be with it and enjoy it, which is what love should be. It should be that sweet. You find a passion in something or someone that you love and it grows. It should not get worse. That's side note. But he had that passion and he had the loving support of his family. And that's what makes the difference, guys, is when you're ready, wherever that is, and you start exploring yourself and understanding maybe there are things going on around you. The stars are real, they do exist, they have functioned for many, many, many centuries, and they do have an effect on us whether or not we're paying attention. I say pay attention and utilize the energy to be the best version of yourself. And that's what we do at Candles by Ari. That's what we do. Because the more I see my people grow, it's like a ricochet where not only do they step into their power, but they also are more generous with the people around them because they're happy. You know, they smile a little bit more. They're not as quick to anger. They don't let the simple shit drive them crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, they still cray cray. They still got to go through their processes. But knowing your process, understanding the elements of how your mechanisms work, man, that's gold. That is gold. Because maybe you don't understand why you show your ass. Maybe you don't get why things can't work the way I prefer. You may not know that your presence, your tongue, your actions, your tone, your inflections in your voice are carrying more information out than maybe you should be giving. We like professionals just as people because they come to us appearing strong in a particular discipline, right? Let's say a police officer. We want to believe that that represents that officer, that energy, loyalty, respect, community peace, security. Like they're out to make sure community and people we stay in balance. He's the man that handles imbalances, right? Or she is the person that handles imbalances. Well, just because they wear the suit doesn't mean they represent all of that energy internally. Yeah. And see, that's when it also gets a little bit more uncomfortable because the image of what we want to see and the reality of who they are, see, that's real talk right there. Like, that's why we can respect professionals because they have to take their personal, whatever their case is, and they have to put it together, right? With what they have to do for the financial benefit, what they have to do for their professional image. You know, um, we're in SAG right now. SAG is all about party, party, fun, fun, but they like to learn. They're the smartest, most brilliant researchers. And they do have pizzazz because they do know how to put on a show. And they're funny as the Dickens. I mean, Richard Pryor, I mean, genius comedic talent. Just genius. True, true, true Sag to his heart. He said every goddamn thing he wanted. I still remember my mom playing his albums. That natural talent came from his fire being a Sag. And ironically, Eddie Murphy, who's also another brilliant talent, is an Aries, which is another fire sign. And he got a chance to work with him in Harlem Nights, I do believe. Went down as a classic. But when you know yourself, right? When you can get familiar enough to know, this is kind of my process. I'm gonna go do something probably not too good for a second, and I'll be back, because that's maturity also. I got some girls. We did Bake Day. It's an annual event that we do once a year, and we get together and we bake something, and we get baked. Everybody's happy. It's the only time of the year where it's literally food and fun and drinks and good times. I mean, we have like 3 to 5 rounds of food. Do you hear what I'm saying? I mean, it's decadent, and nothing is, there's no skimping. There is no calorie counting. It is bake day, okay? So some of us look forward to it all year long. And so we just had our annual event this last Saturday. And I have to tell you, mm, it does nothing but get better and better each year. It's one of those things that are like the chapters that change, the pages that change in your life, because I take pictures every single year and I compare who can make it and who not, because we have our core group and then they're allowed to bring a guest. And so we'll see if that guest returns next season because it's up to the committee. And that's a whole nother thing. But anywho, bottom line is it's something that fire really appreciates. And we always do it in the first 2 weeks of December. Always. And that's our thing. You can create something like that with one or two people. It doesn't have to be a group of people, just one or two. Three makes a group, by the way, just the definition. Three makes a group. So I'm sure you can pull three. I'm absolutely positive you can pull three. And then on Tuesday night, I went to another Christmas party in Hollywood, like smack dab in the middle of Hollywood at this bar. It's called Spot Five in Hollywood. That's a hotel, and the bar is at the top of the hotel. So we were there on Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night in LA, having another Christmas celebration. So, I got a chance to see people, meet people, and mingle, and you want that. You want that. That's a Sagittarius type of thing. They just want to bebop around, see how you doing, check it out, what's going on. They just love the energy. They just want to know. And they usually are a little bit of an innocent soul in the sense that they don't really think negative about people. I'm not saying they can't. Like I said, every chart has a high and a low, but in general, they do have more better spirits. They just got better dispositions because they do believe that things can get better. They truly are the optimistic, probably outside of Pisces, one of the most optimistic signs in the zodiac. Truly. And you know what? That optimism always pays off. They always get blessings. I have very rarely ran across Sagittarius people who didn't get their blessings. It's kind of interesting. Hold on, I got to put my plug in. Yes. Because I'm using so much energy now, I gotta like keep things plugged up, which is like, dang, that's hot. So when you look at the sun and the moon, look at how, when you look at your own chart, just look at how those things ring with you. Okay, because that's the first part of your story. Like, does these qualities resonate with where I am or where I want to go or what I'm interested in? Opportunity never stops coming. Just for the record, opportunity is around every single day. Now, it may not be the opportunity you're interested in. Okay, it may be opportunity you haven't considered. Okay, I know when you're changing and growing, it may not even be a concept that has even crossed your mind. All right, so that's why it's always good to take a few steps back and breathe a bit and just kind of see how you feel about it. See if things are connecting for you. Okay, once you know how you connect, like your process, you're going to be better at explaining and understanding the energy that you have to offer, if that makes any sense. Like I said, we're in Sag right now. Sag is a talkative fire sign. They are flippant. I give you the example of Richard Pryor, one of the all-time greatest comedians ever, hands down. That man was a comedic genius, but he suffered personally, had a lot of demons, and with good reason. He had a very dynamically difficult childhood that would take a toll on any soul when you see the kind of dualities that he did. And he used them to make people laugh. That's brilliant. That was the clearest, fantastic use of a fire sign energy. And his sun sign was in Sagittarius. So when you start looking at your chart, you start looking at your soul's story. Okay? And in discovering that story, it starts giving you more confidence in things that you may not have considered. Things that you could be good at if you put a little bit more effort, and maybe you don't consider to be a big deal now. Another example, him and Rick Fox were my favorite too. They were wonderful, humble, just mm. So another example of hidden stories that you may not know you know yet. Was I had another client who just had this knack for putting songs and dates and times together. It was just one of her things. If she heard a song, she could tell you what year it came out and what chart it was on. It's kind of spooky la and a little weird, to be honest with you, because at the time nobody knew what to do with that. It's like whatever. She works in clearance now. She works in clearance at one of the major record labels. Clearance is where you actually have to hear the song, the samples, and find out who they where they came from, so you can pay the royalties to the people who you're taking from their work to make yours. So it's a clearance thing. It's a big deal because a lot of people sample other people's music. They may or may not realize it because we have a lot of different genres now. But with the AI and with my client being so stellar, I mean, I don't think AI could ever keep up with her because she loves music. Like she's a music lover. So for her, it's listening to different musics and then seeing how the charts are developing. And, now I think she's reading algorithms just to see who's picking up on what. You know what I mean? But the blessing is she found something that probably would have make people thought she was a little weird. Now, why would you need to know when a song came out? What's the purpose of saying this about this song? I mean, it just didn't sound like a very, important thing to do. Well, smack dab here in the 20 next century, okay? Um, Clearance is huge. Companies pay and they have, softwares, but you can't beat the human spirit. I don't care what AI does, just can't do it because that spirit, it gives you that passion, it gives you that courage, right? So that you can step out of your comfort zone and do just a little bit more, just just a little bit. Which is another thing when you look at a Mercury. Mercury is how we think. Mercury is also in Sagittarius right now. So keeping with that theme of expansion, fire, mutable, um, probably adventurous, wherever Sag falls in your chart, that's those qualities that's going to pop up there. Okay, so think about it as a seed, that this is the soil that you're putting your seeds in. And if you have a Mercury in Sag, you're fiery. You need a lot of stimulants. You want to learn things. You want to understand things. So you may want to get a journal, right? Get some thought process organized. I guess you could do it now with your phone. Goodness, you could do everything with the phone. But putting those habits into your day to day for a Mercury and Sag would ground them. It would ground them because they would know they physically have a certain accountability to themselves that you can't overlook. Which brings me to affirmations. Affirmations are so effective because you can literally reprogram your brain. Like, literally. It has been proven that if you think something long enough and focus your minds and thoughts on that thing, eventually your mind will figure out a way to allow it to come into existence. So when you use affirmations and you're affirming for a particular thing, you're asking the universe to open that door up. You know what clogs up affirmations? Fear, anxiety, doubt. These are all normal emotions. Okay, guys? These are not bad emotions. They're not. It's just you can't let them overwhelm you and take over, especially after you start seeing your blessings. See, that's the part where I have to always bring them back to, you asked for something to happen, you received it. Let's stop and acknowledge that. You prayed for something to happen. You meditated on it, you focused on it, and you received it. Now, that's your confirmation of how powerful your connection is to your higher power within you. Yeah, I coached you, and yes, I still pray for you, but you allowed it to manifest. And that's the beautiful part about when you learn to affirm. And you also catch yourself when you saying something stupid. Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you have good friends around you, they will also help correct you because they know that you are tripping. Yeah. And it's okay to vent. Let me reiterate, it is okay to be human and have to go through your human process. I am not saying pretend like this shit ain't happening. I'm not saying that. You do you, whatever that is, whatever that process is. Okay. Me, I have to go pray and probably get a glass of wine and pray. Okay. Because for me, I have to go through that process of what the fudge. I do. I'm sorry. That's just my reactionary thing. I want to understand why is this a good idea? Because that's my first thing is what the fudge, right? And then I have to sit and go, okay, breathe. Because it probably is something I wasn't thinking about or don't want to do. Either way, it's being presented. A great example is my bathroom sink. My bathroom sink, the hot water faucet, while it was on, broke. It broke. I'm not a plumber, but it broke. I screamed from my daughter because I was trying to cut the water off underneath the sink for whatever reasons, probably because there was water going all over the place and it was hot water. Thank you very much. She was doing something, had her headphones on. Either way it goes, was not paying attention. And I am freaking out. And I'm like, okay, Father, sweet spirit, you got to take this because I really don't know what to do. And I was crying. Grabbed my robe because I was in the bathroom about to take a shower. So I was undressing when all this, I just cut the water on to wet my face because I was going to put some cream on or something. Anywho, I had to run out top speed, throwing my robe on me, jumping over my banister to cut the water off for the whole entire house because that was the only way I could stop it. First of all, thank God that I knew how to do that. Thank you, sweet spirit. And thank God that, I just had to deeply clean my bathroom. That's how I took it, is that spirit was saying, hey, you probably need to hit these walls more. Don't know, but that's what I did. I called my plumber. He made some suggestions. We worked some things out. Right now, I need to get a new faucet set, which is, I have to pick it out because it was whatever it is I want. And so that's being handled. But when it happened, oh my goodness, me oh my, I was like, heavenly, no, this is the suckiest time for this to show up. I'm not ready for this. I mean, every bit of denial I could possibly come up with was screaming. Because guys, I was about to get in the shower. Okay, how's the sheetrock? Well, the sheetrock was fine because I immediately cleaned everything up. And my plumber came over, and he basically said, "Yeah, it's good that you did everything." Because I took all the clean towels because I also just did laundry, and I just threw them all over the place, and I threw them back in the wash, which I couldn't wash till much later when he came back. But hey, I got a washer and I can get it done. That's the blessing. So, anywho, thank you for asking. Appreciate that, humbler. So, basically, in a nutshell, I had to pray my way through that. That was not the way my afternoon was supposed to go. I was actually getting ready to go somewhere else. All that had to cease till the next episode. And I say that because I want you to understand I'm a living human being just like you. So I'm not saying something that I personally would not have to experience and would want the compassion that I give others. I need to give it to myself. So I'm saying this because I want you to also hear you got to stop and take care of self. Remember the example I said at the beginning about the airplane. They always instruct you put the mask on yourself first before you put it on someone else. Yeah, that's not selfishness. You can't help anybody if you go down. So that's foolish, even though it may be counterintuitive to put yourself last in that case. It's actually warm today. So I'm actually super, super thirsty. I haven't been drinking enough water. I've been running around a lot. Like I said, I've been partying. So my water intake hasn't been as high, but I am working on it as we speak. So when you look at your soul's journey, guys, and you look at the way that your astrology falls in your chart, and like I said, you could do this. You're gonna do a 21-day fast and prayer. Wow. Wow, get prepped because yeah, get prepped because I've done one of those. Whew, get prepped. Get prepped. Make sure you got all the stuff you need. Hey, Bumblebee Plumbing. I was just talking about you. Anyway, when you are moving toward goals and aspirations, you got to look at how you deal with stuff, how you manage stuff. Are you a person that can pull yourself out of, going into Mach 66 in the negative? Or can you look forward and move towards something else? Okay. Yeah, it's a great detoxer. It really is. And I'm going to tell you right now, all this takes work. Okay. Looking at your chart, because you could do that. There's plenty of free ones. Okay. Plenty of free ones. And putting this all together, that's what makes you you. That's what gives you that personality, that flair, that style. And you can take from it whatever you want. There is no right or wrong or limitations. It actually gets more fascinating because there's aspects that can give you, like I said, best days for your particular sign. Because, like anything, it's a timing thing. Some days are better than others. It's just the way it goes. It's not negative. It's just sometimes people, they just not your flavor. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And if you can walk away with harmony and peace, cool, fine. Or just gently remove yourself. That's what I do. It's like if it's not working for you, you don't have to sit there and bite somebody and scream at them. I mean, what's the point? 2026, I'm not taking any more nonsense. Good for you. Good for you. Because you know what? We don't need no more nonsense. That's why, guys, look at your chart and find your boundaries. Find how you deal with stuff. Find out what makes you tick because you have a story. Your soul has a story, and your chart gives you a lot of insight to that story. Okay. You can also contact me. You can go to my website, take a peek, because literally there's so much information out there. You just have to figure out how to use it for you, how to apply it for you, you know? And healthy boundaries, there is nothing wrong with healthy boundaries. A lot of times we don't have boundaries, right? We try to be the nice person. We try to, oh, I'm not going to let you bring me down, which is a good thing. That's a good attitude. But you also have to know when to tell them, stop sending that shit my way. Okay. You can keep that to yourself because that's a wake up call. Like, no, I'm not doing this with you no more. And that's that boundary that you have to have for your mental well being. You have to. We have so much white noise, so many things trying to get our attention. So many family members, friends, don't even cut the TV on. Don't jump on social media because it's plenty of stuff there for you to just, hey, Sharita, thanks for passing through. But these are the things that life is like a wave. It's just a wave. The stars are our compass. They tell us, they give us a heads up. Now, we can choose to ignore it, which most of us do. We just go keep straight doing whatever we're doing. So, but that's free will. And hey, maybe that could be your journey. Maybe you do need to go head up straight into stuff so that your soul can learn. Who knows? Like, honestly, who knows? So, energy begots energy. So, when you start clearing your energy field of just unnecessaries, and I'm going to give you a little exercise, one little thing that could open up the energy field in ways you have never considered. Go through your emails and start getting rid of old emails. Trust me, junk mail, put the blocks on it, just stuff you don't need, put stuff in your folders, just lessen the amount of BS when you log in that you have to deal with. I'm going to tell you right now, that is so liberating because you can do that anytime you want. anytime. And as you release and start flicking off just the debris of information that you are not going to read all of it, there's no way, just the weight of just unnecessary BS coming through, that's going to clear up a lot of nonsense for you. A lot. So that's like one of those things I've been recommending to my peeps and my client. I mean, even my daughter's doing it because we do carry a lot of energy in a lot of different ways. Online is the same. It may not feel like it's the same, but it's the same. So go through those emails and start trying to get rid of stuff that you don't need. Okay? Spam must go. Yes, spam must go. Right there. Spam. Who wants to have that? It sounds nasty. I mean, I personally don't eat spam, the food either. So God bless you if you do. It's not my thing. But still, who needs it? Okay? But start there. Now, because I'm getting ready to end here in a little bit because it's coming up at 3 o'clock and I got a couple other episodes I have to get done now. Candles by Ari. If you need your packages, please hit me up, DM me, so I know what's what, so I can get the final stuff out this weekend. Okay, that's for all of my people here in the local LA market, and you know who you is. Okay. Now, as far as classes go, we got one more meditation class this month, and then we're going dark till January. And in January, we will be doing some more expansion. I am looking and doing a roundtable talk, and I do want to bring a prayer circle once a month, prayer circle through my Zoom, for those who just want to just sit and just meditate and just receive light. And I'm gonna have you submit through the chat. You kind of like what you want us to pray on, and we're just gonna sit and pray. And that's gonna be part of the 2026 kickoff once a month prayer circle. Yeah, during the day. So I'm trying to pick a time kind of the middle of the day. So East Coast, West Coast, it's kind of balanced. But definitely check out my site, DM me. Oh, cool, humble, cool. Yay, it's going to be good because it's about raising up the frequency and keeping it up there, guys. This is not about trying to get there, it's about getting there. It's about allowing us and giving ourselves permission to be happy, to be well rounded, to not have a bunch of anxiety about every goddamn thing that's going on. That's crazy. It's about growth, right? Peace is about growth. And that starts within, guys. So invest in yourself. I have some programs, some classes. Definitely DM me, hit me. Okay. And I will send you some free information because it's about us coming together for the right reasons, sending love and light because we don't need no more dumb shit. We really just, I'm so cool with dumb shit. I'm not against dumb shit. He can live in his own neighborhood. I'll send him meds and I hope, everybody is okay. But I got my own stuff and I have to stay focused on the blessings that spirit is giving me, like the true blessings. And that means working on self. So 2026 is going to be, guys. Now remember, Christmas and New Year's both fall on this time slot. Yeah, so I will be doing some filming and doing uploading of just a couple little things I want to share. And I'll be going live, but I'm also going to be doing more uploads because it's the holiday. And I also want to enjoy it with my family and friends as well. So let's work together. Your stuff's like, it's still, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I work really hard on my stuff. So appreciate that piece. So let's do this. I'm going to probably try to check in on Christmas Eve or the day before, and I'll put it out to go live. And let's do what are we thankful for Christmas? That's the thoughts I want to leave you with. Like, what are you thankful for? Like, what is your sweetest gift that you're receiving this holiday season? And just allow yourself to be in the moments. You know what I mean? Like, allow yourself to enjoy, your family, your friends, your environment, the food, the sitting and watching TV together. We're doing a low key holiday season here because it's not going to be about money. It's going to be about quality food, us all being around one another and doing some fun stuff together. That's pretty much it. Because you know what? When it's all said and done, life, yeah, Life is in progress, and we need to stop, smell that rose, enjoy what Spirit is giving you, and stay blessed. All right. So you know where I am. DM me if you have more questions. I will see you soon. I won't say next week because it's the holidays, but definitely look for my uploads. Like, follow, and as always, stay blessed. Bye. Bye. Peace. Bye.